Hey, yo. Check it.
Welcome back, hero.
My word is my sword, Hokage Yambatosai, pulling the blades out of the forge, yo. Prior to my knowledge of the Force, was thinking Jedi, but through obtaining holocrons from both sides, I'm under gray skies. Everything that glitter ain't kyber crystal, my mind to lift you. In this time we shine together, disarm your pistol, yo. Welcome to the SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash. Welcome to the SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash. Welcome to the SwordCast.
Right. Welcome back to the stage of history.
Welcome to your doom. That's from Altered Beast. From that game was so hard on Sega.
That shit was hard. I remember that.
Super hard. What episode? This is episode 37.
Is it? Fuck.
Bro, I'm always like blown away by the fact that we have actually literally done a podcast for 37 straight weeks.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
That is
I didn't think.
That's nuts.
Is there any sports player ever that has ever worn the number 37?
Yes, Rodney Harrison. He was a safety in the NFL, and he was like a super dirty hitter all the time, but he was a really good player. And me being a Vikings fan, I have a cornerback from like 1998. His name was Jimmy Hitchcock, but I used to call him Jimmy Hitch Toast because he was always getting burned by somebody. But those are possibly the only 37s that I have. I'm probably wrong here. Ron Artest was the number 37.
I think so. I think he was, and I think Nick Van Axel was too.
Wow. Well, somebody occur. Where's my man Rick Brown?
Rick Brown. We need you.
Bro. We need you,
right?
Rick Brown. We need you.
Yo, hold on real quick before we jump into this. I need your help.
Hey, you know what? Before you jump into that, we gotta start a SwordCast Hall of Fame, bro. Rick Brown's in it.
100%, dog.
Rick Brown's in it.
So off top, Rick Brown is in it.
Rick Brown's in it. My homie Nick Milks is in it. Nick Milks. Nick Milks is in the SwordCast.
My homie Edmund is in it for sure.
He's in it He's in it just strictly off of just backstory.
Right. More to come on him in a second. That's what I wanted to ask you, but one second. Also, just off association. So we're gonna call this. In honor of my dad, we're gonna call this the Perry Hall SwordCast Hall of Fame, because you already know he's in there for the story for some of his stories. We got Nick Milks, we got Edmund, we got Rick Brown, and also, bro, just from association, we got Kyle Felix, dog. My nigga Kyle Felix was on deck.
He's in there.
He was on deck for all kind of shit, bro. Who else is going in the SwordCast Hall of Fame?
Bro, I feel like my mom's in there for all the Christmas stories. My brother's in the SwordCast Hall of Fame. Chris, he's been a part of a lot of stories, man. It's just we got a lot of Hall of Famers, but we all know who's in the Hall of Shame, man. We got Reggie Jackson.
Oh, good grief. We got Mario.
We got Vince McMahon.
we got Super Mario. We got who else? Luke Skywalker. 100% in there.
Skywalker. He's definitely in there.
Do we have enough? It's not dislike. It's just that other people are better. I was gonna say Jet Li, but it's not that I dislike Jet Li.
It's not dislike. It's that
just a lot of other people are better.
We don't agree with people holding him over the likes of Jackie Chan.
Fuck no. Are you kidding me? Not gonna be able to do it, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Not gonna be able to do it.
Not gonna be able to do it. But yo, man, that does it for the sports section of the SwordCast because there's nobody.
Yeah, I don't know. So real quick before we jump into it, speaking of Edmund, so I've been talking to him recently, and I've finally, after years and years, for as much of a sweaty as he is, he's not a big anime fan. He's never really big in. I mean, he's been, back Dragon Ball Z back in the day, like the, Cowboy Bebop, the classics. Mm-hmm. But he wants to try to get into anime fully, and I fucked him up because I gave him some good recommendations. You know, the same ones he did. Full Metal, he did My Hero Academia. He loved both of those. But I fucked up, and I should have pushed him to do Naruto first. I should have pushed him to do Naruto before.
And the reason you got to do
My
that
Hero Academia,
because it's so long, right? And you got to give him that one before you give him, you know, the newer,
right? The shorter ones,
the condensed version. Because that's the thing with shonen anime is as it goes on, they better. I guess they find better ways to present the formula
100%.
in a lesser, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think he would have appreciated, even though he loved My Hero, I think he would have appreciated it more if he saw Naruto first, because Naruto clearly is the bones and the structure for that show, and Dragon Ball Z the structure for Naruto. I mean, it's really. But so he's watching it now, and I kind of told him, like, I know him super well. I'm like, bro, I think you'll like it. It's dope. It is very slow. It's very formulaic. I don't know if this is going to be your favorite, but it is a classic. It's a standard.
You talking about Naruto, right?
Yeah, and I also told him
absolute best fights ever. I was going to say patient.
Yeah, I was gonna say the payoff is great, and in my opinion, I know this is a hot take for a lot of sweaties, but I personally like Shippuden better than Naruto.
Fire!
It's just that whole thing where I don't really separate.
You don't separate them. Yeah, no, I feel that.
But,
so here's what I want from you. I want a 30, because he's having trouble with it right now. He's like, well, he cracked me up. He was like, so are they gonna keep doing this like Ocean's 11? Style reveal of like, I knew you would do this, so that's why I did this, and I knew you had this power up, so that's why I magically did this. And I'm like, bro, like that's an anime trope, bro.
That's an anime trope, man. Everybody does that.
And so he's getting a little bit frustrated. He's, I gave him the filler list, like, yo, just skip all the bullshit, just hit the hot spots. So I need you to give him a 30-second elevator pitch on why he needs to finish and watch both Naruto and Shippuden.
So this is for Edmund, right?
It's for Edmund.
Word. All right, Edmund, I got you. 30 seconds on the clock. This is why you need to watch Naruto. Number one, the reason I give everybody, man, if you want top tier anime fights, this is it. This is martial arts. This is where you're going to get that. And Naruto, the story of somebody who has always wanted to do something and being with them on that journey until they actually do it is amazing. It's amazing. You'll become attached to all the characters. But the good thing about Naruto is there's so many other dope characters that even if you don't like Naruto himself, there is somebody for everybody. It might be, Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, Minato, all the Hokage are dope. There's so many dope characters. There's some crazy twists that come once you get to Shippuden. But all you got to do is make it to the Chunin exams, man. If you haven't made it to the Chunin exams in the original Naruto, you can't really say anything yet, because once you get to the Chunin exams, I promise you,
it takes off.
You will watch it from there with no problems, bro. You just got to make it. Just make it to the Chunin exams. If you get to the Chunin exams and you're still not interested, then you have all the rights to drop it, right? But you got to make it to the Chunin exams, all right? It's not that far. It's in the original show. So once you get to the Chunin exams, everything gets a lot doper from there, because it starts getting real serious.
Yep. Yeah, the tone changes. It's dope. Yep. I told him the payoff, man. I think it's a long journey. It's a classic long form anime. You're supposed to sit with it in this initial run. I mean, it was out over the course of like a decade almost, right? So but anyways, it's the payoff is worth it in the end. I mean, Naruto has some of the best character development that we've with most characters. I'll just say with the lead character, Naruto has one of the best arcs, and Sasuke.
Naruto and Sasuke have great arcs together.
Yeah. See, but then this is why you got to give credit to My Hero, because I think the one weakness that Naruto has is that while they do an excellent job developing the lead characters, they kind of leave the side characters to kind of
Absolutely.
the same.
That was my thing with Shippuden, and it gets frustrating if you are a fan of a side character, right? In Shippuden, it really, in the original Naruto, they take all this time and they build the world up and they build all the characters and everybody that came into the same class as Naruto and all his peers. But then once you get to Shippuden, it really becomes the Naruto show, right? Basically, the Dragon Ball formula, right?
Yeah, basically.
You had a lot of shine on like some of the other guys, and once it got to Dragon Ball Z, it was the Goku show. It was the same thing, and they kind of do that in Naruto, but it's a little frustrating because man, some of those side characters are so dope.
Yeah,
and Neji and Lee and all those guys who kind of fall into the back of the show once Naruto starts getting older and developing. But I mean, hey man, you get a lot of dope. Still, there's a lot of good stories with the side characters, and my favorite character, Kakashi. He's not the main. He's not the lead by any means. So it gets good, man. You just gotta stick with it.
It definitely does. All right, cool. So that was our first tangent. It's quicker than usual. So I'm good. That's currently what I'm into right now. That was where we were going to go. So what I'm currently into is convincing Edmund to watch anime. And so far, doing a pretty good job.
Right. So me currently, I'm always going back and watching like old wrestling. That's kind of my thing. I do it all the time. But I told you prior to us going on the air, so to say, that I would have a pro wrestling hot take for you.
You got fired.
And I got one, right? Okay. And so I've been going back. We all grew up in the Monday Night Wars era of pro wrestling, right? With WCW and WWE going at it on Monday nights. And obviously you had NWO, you had DX, right? But me being a Japanese wrestling fan, I was always a fan of the cruiserweights in WCW. Those are the guys who changed my life and made me like obsessed with wrestling, right? The Ultimo Dragons, the Jushin Ligers, the Eddie Guerreros, the Rey Mysterios, the Juventud Guerreras, the Dean Malenkos, and who else? The Chris Jerichos, right?
Yeah.
The Lionheart, Chris Jericho, Cruiserweight Jericho. Here's my take, bro. I've been watching some old stuff, refreshing my memory. Young, prime, I'm not even really talking WWE. I'm talking prime Chris Jericho, some of his early WWE stuff, he had some amazing stuff when he first got there. Like he's got the 2001 match with Chris Benoit, the ladder match. So he's got some really good matches early in his career. He had the match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. But what I'm getting at here is I honestly think that prime Chris Jericho is better than AJ Styles.
Whoa!
That's my
shit.
That's my take.
And the
reason I say that is because when I love my thing, right? One of my things with wrestling that gets me. I'm a huge fan of obviously the martial artsy stuff, right? The kicks and all of that. Lionheart, Chris Jericho, Young Jericho, he had a lot of that, and he had the technical mat work, he had the submissions, and he had the bridging suplexes that I love, right? And it's crazy because AJ doesn't have a lot of that. He don't do a lot of that stuff, and he never really did. Is AJ Styles amazing? Yes. Is he the best wrestler of the last 10 years? Yes. But I do think that prime Chris Jericho is better than AJ. And it's because he has all those things. And on top of all those things, he also has that blaring personality, man. And that's just something that AJ never really picked up. That's never been a deal breaker for me. My favorite wrestler don't even speak English. Muda is my favorite wrestler of all time. Don't even speak English. So that don't matter to me. But I'm just saying, as a total package, total wrestler, I do think that young Chris Jericho is better than AJ Styles.
Wait. Are you saying Are you saying prime for prime?
Yeah, I'm saying prime for prime.
So 1998 Chris Jericho, you think is better than like 2000 like 9 AJ Styles?
Yep.
Wow. So I don't know. All right, here's what I'll say. I think that AJ Styles is more athletic than him.
Yeah, absolutely. More athletic for sure. AJ was when I first started watching him in like 2005, I was looking at him the same way I look at Ricochet and Will Ospreay right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I was like, yo,
how do you do that?
This cat was doing the springboard shooting star to the outside of the ring. That's like a death. That used to be a death sentence if they even tried something like that. So you know
I agree with you though that like if you talk about the total package, because AJ Styles' weakest link is that his personality is not nearly on the same level as Chris Jericho.
Right, but I'm talking just as a pure, and you know they had. I got a lot of respect for Jericho in that age, man, because he really went through the true ringer, bro. Like he went to Mexico, he went to Japan, he went to Europe. Like he's been everywhere. So he has all of that, you know what I mean, in his style. So so yeah, man, both phenomenal,
that's a real
fantastic wrestlers. But I do think I think Chris Jericho is better than prime AJ Styles.
So
boom.
So has Chris Jericho leapfrogged AJ Styles in terms of your favorites of all time?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know, man. We have to get in that another day. That'd be a tough one. It's hard for me it's always difficult for me to take current guys and put them over guys from my childhood. It's tough. So I don't know. We have to come back to that another day. You know what I mean?
All right. That's a real hot take, man.
That's my hot take, man. Everybody argue about it. Argue about it with your friends.
It's a hot take, but it's not crazy. Like I don't know if I agree. I personally like because I'm a sucker for flippy athletic shit. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like the total package, that plus the ring, because I care a lot about the personality as well. Like I think I think Chris Jericho is probably one of the greatest personalities in all of wrestling of all time. Mm-hmm. Him and I know you're not as big a Rock fan as me, but like that nigga on the mic, bro. Like,
yeah,
to this day, when I'm bored, I will look at the Rock highlights, not his wrestling highlights, just his microphone highlights.
The Rock wasn't a slouch in the ring though. Like he could go, he could wrestle. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like guys like Rob Van Dam is my other favorite wrestler, and he's actually had some sweet matches with The Rock, like when he was in WWE. So The Rock can wrestle, man. He's not like terrible in the ring.
Word. Well, that's good. All right. Well, shit, man. All right. Like you said, argue about it. Prime AJ Styles versus prime Chris Jericho. Who you got?
I like it, man. So today's episode, we got some good stuff for everybody. Before we do anything, I know you've been itching to talk about this. All my gamers in the world, there is a game coming out, and I have to tell you guys, if it's not speaking of like something old that's being remade, right? Not the Mega Man Zero collection, not the Final Fantasy remake, but something new that is coming out. I have not been more excited for a game in so many years than I am for the Ghost of Tsushima. If you did not watch this gameplay video that came out, you have to watch it. How you feel about that gameplay video? This game looks unbelievable.
Look, bro. I've been waiting to play a game like this. I'm not gonna be one of those people that says, "Oh, I knew about this game 15 years." Like, no, I didn't. I learned about it the same time everybody else did. But when I first saw it, you mean to tell me this is an open world samurai game, and in the dawn of the samurai, like early samurai years, telling a dog ass story where the samurai kind of got the legendary reputation that they have of being these fearless warriors where they fought off the Mongol invasion. It's open world. The graphics are amazing. It's completely customizable. You can play as a ninja and as a samurai. You can play it with this nigga. Look, hold on, check it out, dog. This nigga walked into the camp on some honorable shit and was like, "Yo, square up, bitch."
Come on,
like straight
man.
up. There was a standoff button, a button you could press that says standoff, and he straight up challenged the nigga, straight up like, "Yo, square up. I'm the samurai. I've come to fight." And and then here's the fucking dope part, bro. You and I are both martial artists. The respect, dog. After he killed my man, he bowed to him like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? You gave your life in battle. I I defeated you. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that shit. But you wasn't good enough.
Honor, man, respect.
There was. I mean,
sorry, bro. I'm playing the old Ronin Warriors. I told you I was gonna start watching it again. Something sweet just happened, but I haven't seen that show forever. But yeah, bro, just the attention to detail, man. Like you said, like that, and even the scenery is crazy. The scenery is crazy. It's just,
you know what it looks like? It kind of. I know you haven't played much of The Witcher 3, but The Witcher. It looks like. I mean, it looks way better than The Witcher, just to be honest. And The Witcher looks great, but like in terms of like how the open world is set up, it's very reminiscent of The Witcher. And The Witcher is one of the great games of all time.
Ever. And Breath of the Wild is had that same, that came from that Witcher, came from that Witcher 3 kind of blueprint of doing the world. So I'm so excited for this game, man. I can't wait to play it. And the music, it's everything, bro. It's got everything. It just has literally everything that you could ever want in a dope game. I can't wait to play it, man. My excitement level is at a 10.
Yeah, I'm getting that shit the day it comes out. No doubt. This might be one of those games where I get it the day it comes out and then I take a day off work that day to play it all day.
Absolutely.
I only do that for Star Wars movies. Yeah, and I might have to do that for this.
You got to do it for Ghost of Tsushima. It's that big a deal. It is, man.
And y'all know how much shit I've been talking about Cyberpunk, bro. I walked out of that Ghost of Tsushima shit and was like, "Yo, might this game be better than Cyberpunk? Like, maybe, could be." But both of those games are right up my alley, though, so it'll be hard to say.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely a first day gift for me. This might be a sleep outside the video game store. No, I'm not gonna do that.
You're not gonna be able to do it.
Not gonna be able to do it. But yeah, man, excited for it. Can't wait for it to drop. Hey, man, like we said last time, I really want to not stray away from the 90s nostalgia path, right, that we began to walk on early in the podcast. That's what it's all about. Nostalgia keeps you happy, makes you laugh. I have some 90s nostalgia themed questions for you. So we always do the anime ones. We did the film joints, but now we're going to talk about some 90s cartoons here, and I have some questions for you, sir.
All right, let's get it.
We need like a 90s nostalgia jingle.
It's 90s.
That's fresh.
Right. Yo, it's the 90s. Fresh.
Yeah, everything was just so cool and vibrant in the 90s. Yep. Remember we were talking about just the cups.
Right.
the styrofoam cups.
All the styrofoam,
a Dorito bag.
They all styrofoam cups look like those like random 90s colored windbreakers that everybody used to wear. The swishy windbreakers, remember those?
Exactly, bro. It was like the same company was making everything.
Everything was like purple and teal. Yeah, purple and teal and like neon yellow.
Yeah, perfect, man. All right, bro, here we go. A 90s cartoon you hate.
There was a lot that I didn't really fuck with. I didn't fuck with a lot of the shit on Nickelodeon, like the Angry Beavers. I wasn't really into that. I wasn't into the Angry Beavers.
Word.
That in the 90s? That might have been in the 2000s.
No, Angry Beavers was 90s, man.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. That was like 96, 97.
Okay.
All right. 90s cartoon you think is overrated?
Oh. Let me think. It would probably also be something on Nickelodeon. I was a Cartoon Network. I was a Cartoon Network guy. I wasn't a hater. I was some stuff that I loved on there.
This Cartoon Network guy.
But I preferred. Oh, here's one. Here's one. Pepper Ann. I thought Pepper Ann was overrated. I know a lot of people like Pepper Ann.
A lot of people loved Pepper Ann, right?
Wait, hold on. I got a better one.
Okay.
This is really going to piss a lot of people off because I like the character. I like the lead character, but I don't know how well Captain Planet has aged. I think Captain Planet was a little bit overrated, dog.
A little bit, sir.
Just a little bit.
Captain Planet,
bro.
He's a hero.
It was
the
power
is yours.
The power is yours. But like, I just couldn't get over the cast being like so intentionally multicultural on some 90s shit. I was like, okay. And then Wheeler was just like a rich white dude that was sort of an asshole. Also the same guy as Wheeler and Ken Masters from Street Fighter are the same character. So yeah, I think Captain Planet was slightly overrated. Slightly.
Wow. This is fantastic. 90s cartoon you think is underrated?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I think that shit. I mean, my honest answer, even though people think that this is a great show, I think that the X-Men animated series is even with all the praise it gets, I think it's still underrated. I think it's even better. But
it's so deep.
They was talking about the realest shit, dog. They was talking about race relations for real. But I'll give you a better one. That's how I feel in my heart. But I'll give you a better one. I think Static Shock, super underrated. Super underrated. And bro, we're ready for Static Shock to come back.
Hold on, bro. I don't think Static Shock came on in the 90s, man.
Come on, don't play with me.
It didn't, bro. It couldn't have.
Because
I remember.
Look at that shit.
I'm gonna look it up.
Because I know the character. 99?
2000.
Bro.
The only reason I didn't think it did is because I remember walking home from school when I was a little older and really trying to, bro. I love Static Shock so much that I would risk going to my friend's house that lived by the school to watch Static Shock before basketball practice. And basketball practice was like right after school. Yeah, so I would literally go to his house, watch Static Shock, and then hurry up and go back to practice.
That's fire. Okay, I got an even better one then. If we can't do Static Shock, what I was going to say though, we're ready for a reboot of Static. He's perfect for right now. Look, shout out to my nigga Virgil right above my shoulder.
His little appearance in Young Justice was fire. You know what episode I'm talking about?
Yep.
Those episodes are super dope. I agree, man.
Here's one that's even better than that. I think Reboot is criminally underrated, dog. Reboot, one of the great TV shows. If that didn't make my 90s, hopefully it did. My 90s cartoons. Okay.
It was in your top 5.
Okay, yeah, man. Reboot, so amazing, dog. I love that show. First fully CGI cartoon ever.
I remember. Yo, man, that's crazy. I still remember, man. Do you remember being a kid and they would run the ad of the upcoming Saturday morning cartoons that were about to be dropping in the next season, and I remember seeing the reboot and just being like, "Yo, what is that?"
Right, that's crazy. I used to not know what it was called, and I used to refer to it as the Colored People Show because I didn't know the name of it. But I loved it.
Sounds horrible, right? So look, man, if y'all are listening, man, or if you're watching on YouTube, if you go back, if you listen to our pod, whatever you listen to it on, it's streaming everywhere. If you listen on Spotify, wherever, if you go back to episode 8, which is like eons ago, right? But if you go back to episode 8, we did our top 5 favorite 90s cartoons. So if you go back to episode 8, you'll be able to hear us talking about rebooting some other dope 90s cartoons, man. But all right, 90s cartoon you love.
I mean, I can't answer without going X-Men. It's got to be X-Men.
Dope. 90s cartoon you can watch over and over again. That's kind of a good one though, because us being in the age we are now, and especially with the higher quality and things that have come out, it takes a lot for there to be a 90s cartoon that you could just continuously watch, right?
I mean, again, so this is going to be going out of my way to avoid answering X-Men for every single one of them. But if I had to pick one other than the X-Men, I would say the Batman the animated series.
Ooh, nice. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Or I'm gonna go with Batman. Because Batman, that's one of the. Still to this day, I think that's the most comic accurate. Oh yeah, it's the best Joker, and it's the most comic accurate depiction of Batman that we've ever seen. Outside of the Arkham Asylum games, those are very comic accurate as well.
Yep. 90s cartoon that changed your life.
Again, I could easily answer X-Men. I could answer Reboot for this one too. I'm going to say Pokemon. Because in terms of changing your life, I mean, that introduced me to a world that I became a fan of for the longest time.
For years to come.
I would also, I mean, I think it helped cement the bridge of anime that like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball at the time. And again, the only reason why I didn't, I guess Pokemon is an anime too, but I'm going to still go with Pokemon.
It's a good one.
Introducing me to the world of anime, that was the door that was opened by Akira, and then I had Pokemon and Dragon Ball to fully jump in there, and then Ninja Scroll, and then it was all bad from there.
Or what's a guilty pleasure 90s cartoon?
Bro, look. I'm tempted to say the Powerpuff Girls, but that shit wasn't for girls, bro. That shit was. I don't feel type of way.
That's a good answer.
I don't feel guilty about it though. That shit was sweet as fuck.
We all loved Powerpuff Girls.
That shit was fire, bro. And that shit was.
Have you seen the theory that Professor is Samurai Jack?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That theory goes on to suggest that Aku is Mojo Jojo.
Yes.
Super fire.
Super dope, man. Love it. All right, man. How about a 90s cartoon that you should have seen by now? Which is kind of a tough one, right? So maybe a show. What? So let's go with a 90s cartoon that everybody else likes but you didn't like.
I mean, like I said, there was a lot of shit on Nickelodeon that I didn't fuck with that much. Let me think about some of the more. Okay, here's one: the Justice League. I didn't like. Wow. I loved the Batman stuff, but I didn't like the Superman cartoon or the Justice League cartoon at all.
Do you remember that Superman game from Nintendo 64?
Bro, that shit was the worst game of all time.
That is literally possibly the worst video game ever made.
That shit was booty doo.
That game was horrible.
I
remember there just being like, I remember kind of this, and this was obviously before open world games was a thing, but you're playing a Superman game, so you do think there's going to be some space for you to walk around in, right? Bruh, boundaries galore.
Everywhere, dog. Everywhere. Ridiculous.
I'm going up the street.
Nope. And it's just like hella textures that just weren't finished. It's just like staring off into a void. Like, bro, this shit off my screen.
It was like the Truman Show, dog.
All right.
All right. And the last question I have for these 90s nostalgia moment. a 90s cartoon that you wish would get a current reboot. And this is kind of difficult, right? Because we always talk about how people get mad when they reboot shows from their childhood and they get angry. But it's like, bro, you're not the target demographic, man. This is for children.
Not at all.
You don't have to watch it. It's for your kids.
Yeah. So, by the way, just a quick disclaimer: the reason why I didn't answer Transformers or Ninja Turtles for any of these is because I consider those to all be 80s shows,
which they are
late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, a show that I would like to see get a current day reboot. So a lot of the Marvel stuff is coming out again, so that I'm going to go away from that. I would like to see a Dexter's Laboratory reboot. That would be dope, I think.
That would be amazing.
That would be dope as fuck, I think.
That would be super dope.
Because that was a smart ass show back then, and now, like, you know, the writing in these kids shows is like excellent now. Because all of the people writing it are like our age, and they kind of know what we like.
And they came up in the
Bro, I'm telling you, that's my theory, dog. I think that's the reason why the cartoons that have come out in like the past 10 years, 5 to 10 years, have been excellent
really
because we're writing them.
Steven Universe, Adventure Time, regular show. Even if you look at Nickelodeon is even kind of making an effort to get back to good cartoons, right? Because for a minute, Nickelodeon had like SpongeBob, and that was it. And everything else is like live action.
A lot of weird ass shit on there.
Like The Loud House is a good show. My kids like it. I've seen it. It's a good cartoon. So yeah, Nickelodeon.
See, what I was thinking about the shows that I thought were overrated, there was a lot of stuff from like the 2000s. Once I kind of started getting out of the rhythm of Nickelodeon, like I know people love this show. I did not fuck with Invader Zim like that at all. I thought that shit was weird.
My goodness, neither did I.
That shit was weird to me, bro.
And I was in the minority, and I was like, I don't like Invader Zim. There's people who are like, they stand
for that shit.
There's a huge fandom for Invader Zim.
I guarantee right now somebody's writing in the comments, you don't like him? Man, that shit was fucking weird, bro. I
didn't like Invader Zim.
I didn't like
you being a Cartoon Network kid. We're gonna have to do our top 5 Cartoon Network shows one day.
Oh, for sure.
There's some slept on stuff, man. My gym partner's a monkey.
Yep.
Fantastic, hilarious.
Hell yeah, bro.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yep. Imaginary Friends. Yep.
That show is really dope too.
Another one that I didn't fuck with that much that everybody loved, bro. I did not like Fairly Odd Parents that much, bro.
Well, and you know what?
I didn't like it that much.
I agree, but I do have to say I love the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special though.
Oh, I think you told me about that.
I did. That's like my favorite. I love that, but I've never was a huge fan of the show though. So I feel you on that. So that's what's up, man. 90s nostalgia, cartoons, a lot of good stuff. So I found this 10-day anime challenge, right, on the interwebs, and we're going to do it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to do one day per episode, okay? So today, day 1 is top 5 anime. We've been through this before on the show, but I mean, it could have changed since we last saw it. So just real quick, we're going to run through what our top 5 anime are. I'll go first. My number 5 is Dragon Ball. My number 4 is going to be Cowboy Bebop. Number 3 is Rurouni Kenshin for me. Number 2 is Naruto. And my number 1 is Samurai Champloo, man. That's my top 5 favorite anime of all time.
Boom. Well, mine changes all the time, so I'm gonna go find the post and just read it again.
So
what date was it? Yeah, do you remember
what episode?
Yeah.
So we did our top 5 anime.
Oh, okay, episode, yeah, I see it.
What episode number was it?
Episode. Bro, this shit was episode 1.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yo, that's crazy. So
Oh wait, these are movies. Well, it's not. It's movies and it looks like it's movies and TV shows. Okay,
so,
cool.
Episode 1. Wow, we might have to go back and actually talk about these in depth because mine has changed. Right before, I had Hunter x Hunter in mine instead of Rurouni Kenshin, but
Fuck, you're right.
It changes, man. It depends on what your vibe is right now.
Yeah.
I gotta have Rurouni Kenshin in my top 5. That's
what?
One
me
of my
too.
favorites.
Actually, me too. Okay, so my original top 5 was Ghost in the Shell first, and it did change because I remember doing the same thing I'm about to do right now. I think because I moved Ghost in the Shell down, and I think I popped Rurouni Kenshin. Oh, that was like in the top. It was like in the top 10. You remember, bro? You sent me that text of the top 25.
Yeah, top
anime
25
characters. Hold on, I'm about to find that shit.
For that, yeah, we did that.
And then I gave you the whole. I gave you the entire anime list.
I do remember that, yo.
Okay, all right, I got it.
You good?
Yeah. So I had to drop Ghost in the Shell down.
Word.
So instead of that being in my top 5, I'm going to go Dragon Ball number 5, Dragon Ball through Dragon Ball Z. I don't like Super. I think GT is underrated. I think GT is not as bad as people remember.
You're not the only person that feels like that.
Yeah. But I prefer Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And then I'm going to go Ninja Scroll number 4. I'm going to go Cowboy Bebop number 3, Akira number 2, and Samurai Champloo number 1.
The GOATs.
Yep.
Battle cry, man. Hey, man, that's what's up. Day 1, 10-day anime challenge in the books. Keep it quick. That was dope. All right, man. So we had a couple fans, you know what I mean, comment on the Instagram. Look, if y'all aren't following us on Instagram, man, follow us on Instagram at the SwordCast Pod. We need some more followers, man. All right, we need everybody to get on there. We post our top 5s on there and stuff. If you guys ever want to comment on some things that we're talking about, just comment on the Instagram page, man, and we'll answer you guys. We had a couple fans comment some things, and they want to hear us talk about music, right? We're artists. I'm an MC or a producer, so I get it, right? So first of all, Rick Brown had also kind of seconded this. Shout out to Rick Brown, SwordCast Hall of Fame member. You know what I mean? But we did, we had my man, I think it's M Davies is how you say it, 614 on Instagram. He's a longtime fan. I talked to him a lot. Shout out to him. He was kind of, you know what I mean, as in some music related things. And my man with the greatest internet handle ever, it's rat fart. and rats _ farts. He also wanted to kind of, hear about some music related things. So kind of something music related, right? Just for this quick, we're going to do something music related every episode now, something quick, right? So just right now, give me one album in your life that kind of means a lot to you and why.
Boom. Easy peasy. This is unconventional. Actually, if you know my music, it probably isn't that unconventional. It's not a hip hop record, though, believe it or not.
Word.
I'm going to go with Daft Punk Discovery.
I love it.
From 1998, I think.
And you have told me before about that album and how it kind of birthed the hero, the producer. So talk to the fans out there about that a little bit, man. So
Discovery is probably Daft Punk's most popular record. I think it came out in 1990, either sometime between 98 and 2000. And it was the reason why I caught it's the one that has One More Time on it. One More Time is probably their most famous joint. And it's all,
sidebar. The Trolls movie, the Techno Trolls, they do that song at the beginning. And when I tell you, my daughter is obsessed with Trolls 2. She sings that song all the time, and it's
that's funny,
man.
So yeah, man. For me, it is got to be this song because one, I mean that album. One, is just great. It's just a fucking phenomenal, like house, like Euro house music. It's dope. I mean, it's disco-y. But it's funky, but it's also like techno-y. It's fresh. It's new. And it's clean. You never see. It's a really, really clean house kind of sophisticated kind of feel to it, which I thought was really, really dope. It was perfect for where I was at in my life at the time, going from Detroit Public Schools to Cranbrook, because I discovered that album when I was in ninth grade, and it helped me kind of bridge the gap between those two worlds. Yeah. Also, it helped me to discover like how to tell stories with music, and the reason why is because alongside the album Discovery, they put out a short film that was basically, y'all thought Beyonce did the Lemonade thing first, where it was a music video for her whole record. Nah, man, Daft Punk would been on that shit. They did a thing called Interstellar 555. 555.
Hey, whoa! You better relax talking about Beyonce. You know,
sorry.
You know the Beehive might attack you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not anti Beyonce. She just wasn't the first to do that.
I have to tell you something, so the Beyonce fans don't. Beyonce ruined Lion King. She was terrible.
She wasn't great. She was not. But like anybody who really knew, anybody who ever paid attention to Beyonce acting kind of saw that coming. We know that she's not a great actor.
It's because Beyonce just plays herself in every movie.
Right. Whatever.
You're being this character, Beyonce.
Yeah. I'm just going to be Sasha Fierce. And again, I'm not anti-Beyonce. I wouldn't say I'm a fan necessarily, but I respect Beyonce. Anyways, she wasn't the first to do that with Lemonade. Interstellar 5555 was a anime short film that told the story from the very first track of Discovery all the way to the end.
Amazing.
And it was like when I first, as a matter of fact, how I discovered that record was through the music video. This was before when I had basic ass cable back in like 1996 or 7 or whatever it was. And I was upstairs in my mom's room because her TV, of course, was the only one that had cable. So I had to watch it in her room. And there was an advertisement. I was watching MTV and there was an advertisement for MTV2. And in the commercial, they played a snippet of the One More Time music video. And I'm like, yo,
wow.
This shit is a straight up anime. Like it was anime blue characters. They had blue skin and they were like fucking playing the guitar, playing the piano, like singing the One More Time song. And I'm like, yo, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I need to find it. And I spent like a year trying to find that shit. Like I was going on like Napster. Remember Napster, the fucking original Napster app?
Oh my goodness.
I was going on Napster. I was going on like Kazaa and like LimeWire.
Do you remember the first song you ever downloaded on Napster?
Yes, it was a song I downloaded completely by accident because I was looking for that. I was looking for that song, and I didn't know the name of it because it was just a snippet. It was just a snippet of the song, and it didn't give you like a title or the the name of the song or the artist.
This is so crazy that because the first song I ever downloaded on Napster was the themes was Battle Cry from Samurai Champloo.
Wow!
So we both were downloading something anime related.
Absolutely, it shouldn't be surprising. So I typed. All I had was the lyric. I could only remember 2 or 3 lyrics, and I remember the lyrics were "all yeah, all right." And so I just typed that in I typed that in the Napster, and some weird ass song that I never heard again came up, and I was like, all right, what's this? I eventually amazing. Somehow I tracked down, I figured out what the name, I figured out it was Daft Punk. I went to Borders bookstore. You remember Borders when books used to be sold in stores? I went to Borders and I bought the album. and I also bought the DVD of Interstellar 5555.
That's really dope.
And
man.
that shit changed everything. I was like, holy fuck, this music is amazing. And now I know it's possible to tell a whole ass story without doing anything but making a music record. And it's been my goal ever since to do something like that. And I'm still going to do it. And hey, man, Cerebral Apex 4, 5, 6, we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was awesome. I'm sure the people love it. Actually, I made a mistake. I got confused for a second. The first song I ever downloaded on LimeWire was the Samurai Champloo theme. So Napster was a little
earlier. That was earlier. That was like 90s. That was before that. It was in the 90s. It was like 98, 99.
I can't remember what my first my first Napster song that I ever downloaded. I have to think about that. That's tough.
Bro, I remember a random song. I downloaded that song "Mac Man" by fucking Beanie Siegel, where he was rapping about video game characters. Yo, that song is actually fire as fuck. You ever heard that shit?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That shit is low key fire as fuck.
I think the first song I ever downloaded on Napster was probably like an Eminem freestyle at the radio station.
Yeah, probably
the one where. Are you afraid of a razor blade ripping your stomach up from the waist? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? That one. I think that was the first thing I downloaded on Napster, bro.
Fire. Used to be hella Eminem freestyle on that shit, bro.
Yo, shout out to Slim Shady, man. Yo, that was an amazing answer, man. I'm sure people love that. That was fire.
What about you, man?
So for me, man, an album that means a lot to me, I gotta say, you know what? I have to say Metaphorical Music by Nujabes, man. And the reason I'm picking that is because kind of for you, right? This was before before I wanted to rap, you know what I mean? This was about, I think I discovered Metaphorical Music when I was in about the 10th grade. So this would be, I probably discovered Metaphorical Music in 11th grade because I didn't, I know it came out before Samurai Champloo did, but I didn't know about Nujabes until I watched Samurai Champloo, right? So I had always just thought that the soundtrack to the show was amazing, blending hip hop and anime. So I remember trying to look this guy up, and I found this album, and this was the first album that, like kind of for you, right? It was an album that was beautifully made, and it was not a lot of rapping on it. You know what I mean? It was just
Flowers, right? Was that the only song? Oh no, Think Different or something like that.
Blessing It is on there. Metaphorical Music. The first song, Blessing It's got who's on there? Substantial's on there. It's got a couple. It's got a few rap songs on there, but it's I think it's only like 2 or 3 songs in there with guys rapping, and it's just for everything, man, from the cover to the, you know what I mean? And the reason I love this album so much, bro, because it was the first thing that I listened to where it was an instrumental album. And I just thought it was so unique because at the time I didn't know that type of thing existed. You know what I'm saying? And so this was kind of my Donuts, how Donuts is for a lot of people. You know what I mean? This was kind of like that for me, and I just would listen to it so much, man. And I obviously downloaded it. You know what I mean? I had to download it on the internet, and I just would listen to it all the time, and it was amazing. There's a song in there called "A Day" by Atmosphere Supreme, and it's probably my favorite Nujabes beat. It's incredible, and I just remember just the way that the album made me feel, man. It made me feel just different. You know, I knew that none of my friends had listened to anything like that, but it was, this was, it was just super calming and relaxing, man. And it was kind of a feeling that I like. I was chasing that feeling, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know, where to find it, you know what I mean? And this was kind of right. This was when I was in the middle of being in high school. So this was kind of me, a maybe a year or two removed from like doing martial arts and just only playing basketball, and that album kind of made me miss that. You know what I mean? Miss having that state of mind and all that. And then Samurai Champloo came out, right? And then all
downhill from there.
Right. So, but the show came out after the album, but I actually had watched the show and then went and discovered the album. But just knowing, having both of those, right? Having both of those things at the same time, you know, I got Metaphorical Music, Samurai Champloo, and it was amazing. And then, you know what I mean, I get a little older, I start digging a little deeper for more new best stuff, and it just was amazing. And the thing about Metaphorical Music is I had it and I burned it on the CD and I used to listen to it all the time. And then I lost the CD. Then it was so hard to find. And then I was able to get it again. I used to have a Zune. You remember the Zune? Yeah. I used to have a Zune and I had it on the Zune, man. And then my Zune crashed and then I couldn't get my hands on it anymore. So then, then this was when I remember iTunes came out and all that stuff started happening, but I couldn't find it on there because it was like Japanese, released projects on Hideout, I think was the name of the record label. And I could never find it, and I never could find it. So I went years without being able to listen to it, and then YouTube was being big, so that I would get on YouTube and listen all the time. And then it got taken off of YouTube. So I had this album, and I could never listen to it, man. And I loved it so much. And then it's just kind of, I had been chasing this album through like most of my early, 20s and after high school and after college and, a little bit through college. I was trying to find this album, could never find it. Then a couple years ago, obviously when Spotify happened, I was able to listen to it on Spotify, but New Japan's music actually just got put on there like a few years ago. But when I went to Japan though, man, I went to the record store and they had it. And just me being able to, this was a couple years ago, man, when I went to Japan, and just me being able to go there and physically touch this album that I had been chasing for so many years, and just being able to actually touch it and know that it was mine, you know what I mean? It was amazing. It was like a long journey come to a close. So shout out to that. I'm going Metaphorical Music is an amazing album. There's a song on there, man, and I was talking about A Day by Atmosphere Supreme, but if you listen to the ending song of Samurai Champloo, man, Shika no Uda, amazing. There's a song on Metaphorical Music, and it's kind of that without the lyrics, but it still has that same, that same feeling. So that's it, man. Metaphorical Music. Shout out to life-changing albums, man. Absolutely, bro.
Off the top of your head, I think you said it already, but if I ask the question again, what's your favorite new Jabe's beat?
A Day by Atmosphere Supreme. That's the name of it.
Okay. I think for me, I'm gonna go with Modal Soul.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, that beat is amazing. That's a good album too.
I personally like Modal Soul a little bit better than more Metaphorical Music personally. Right. But they're both like fucking incredible.
Amazing. Modal Soul that's the doom doom doom.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Every time.
Is Yama Hiroto on that? I feel like he did something on that beat too.
I don't know. I don't think that there's any vocals on there. I think it's just the beat.
He's another. He's a key. Sometimes they do stuff together.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know.
When I think of that beat, I just think about like so being out. Yeah, I think about being outside at night. Yes. With a bunch of fireflies out, and it's like hot kind of, and like you're on vacation or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
There's another beat on that project that gives me that same vibe. It's crazy, and it actually has like the crickets in it. You know what I'm talking about?
I think Modal Soul has crickets in it too.
It might. Man, so much good. My second favorite beat is a beat called Aurorian Dance. That's that plays in Samurai Champloo. That beat is amazing. Yeah, man. Shout out to life-changing albums, and you know what, man? I enjoy talking about music, so it's gonna be dope. having a music section on the pod, for the coming episodes, man.
Absolutely.
Before we get into everyone's favorite part, our top 5 of the day, what's your number one favorite thing that you have kind of checked out during quarantine? Something that you got into during this time with COVID-19 going on?
I'm going to have to say it's a video game. And I've been playing this Nier Automata game a lot. This game is good. It's fucking weird, man. And I haven't finished it yet. Because one of the gimmicks in this game is that you have to play through it like 3 or 4 different times. And I've played through it twice already. I'm on my 3rd playthrough, and it's dope. It's got a weird, sweaty ass story. But it's kind of depressing, bro. This shit is, I don't know if not to make light of my situation, but I don't know if this is the game I should be playing right now, dog.
Oh, right. I feel you.
But other than that, I would say the thing that I've had probably the most fun with outside of our Zoom Smash meetings, those have been really fucking fun.
Oh man, I really wish that we could stream Smash on Twitch. Yeah. It's hard to stream on Twitch from the Switch, but me, Hero, our good buddy Marshall, man, we play Smash all the time, and we have a little Zoom call going on while we play. We played yesterday.
It
is so fun.
It's fun, hilarious. But I was getting so fucking mad yesterday. And I was winning a lot too. Like I was winning probably the most, but I was just so fucking irritated, dog. I was like, bro.
He gets frustrated with the way our friend Marshall plays. He's like a battering ram. He
just runs in willy-nilly, and I just be getting so fucking mad. And I used to play online a lot, so I'm like very technical when I play. Like I be short hopping, and
I'm a super technical Smash player.
Yeah, and this nigga, he uses the Smash stick so much that that's how he moves across the board. He doesn't even walk; he just smash attacks his way across the board. And eventually, and he always picks Ike or fucking Terry Bogard. They got one hit kills basically, and just be knocking you the fuck off the level.
Mad priority offense.
Fuck, man.
But hey, man, we're highly skilled. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean hey, man. In a one-on-one, it's a whole different story. It's a whole,
for sure.
But anyways, other than that, I would have to say Streets of Rage 4. I got a lot of run out of that. I actually haven't played it in a minute, but that shit was just a blast of nostalgic fun. It's probably the thing that, and I wouldn't have had time to dive into it the way I have had it not been for the quarantine. So yeah, I would say that's the thing I've got probably the biggest kick out of. What about you?
So, man, that's it. I would have to say it's a show, and I would have to say Handsome Siblings.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I did go back. I did finish Into the Badlands. Loved it. It was amazing. But I would have to say Handsome Siblings, man. Just a really dope show that I enjoyed a lot, and I miss it. You know what I mean? It's that bittersweet feeling of finishing it, and now it's over. That show is definitely my favorite kind of discovery and thing that I was into during the quarantine. So with that said, we're going to get into our top 5 of the day. I'm loving this one, man. You know what I mean? This is another good one. Last time we did our favorite film fights, showdowns. I thought that was really dope. This time, we're going to do our top 5 favorite live action heroes. Right now, we got some rules here. Sticking to the live action thing, they have to be of like film or TV origin, so you can't have like MCU guys because they're of comic book origin. You know what I mean? You can't have like you know what I mean? You can't pick somebody you can't pick Ninja Turtles because they're from comic books. You know what I mean? You can't pick guys like that. So let me get your top 5 favorite action heroes. Good guys. Good guys.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with a quick honorable mention.
Ronin Warriors is such a good show, man. I forgot. It's so dope.
I'm gonna go with a quick a quick honorable mention. Even though this show technically is based on a book. Well, actually, yes, I know. I can't not acknowledge Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Just a great character.
Snow.
One of the best arcs. Jon, I don't want it. I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones, when you know. I mean, that's a reoccurring theme for him. But anyways, he's great arc, great story. Loved him as a character. So jumping into the top 5, I'm going to start with Sonny from Enter the Badlands.
Let's go.
Sansa, let's go. What a fire ass name too. I mean, just a great show. Niggas, Marts are artial. Marts are artial. His arts are martial than a motherfucker.
Sonny is the truth.
It's just such a dope show with a dope ass concept, like Mad Max Fury Road meets fucking like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Just a really crazy concept.
Meets The Raid. It's just brutal
as fuck.
Martial arts with weapons, no blammers, no guns. Man, what a concept for a show!
Super dope,
amazing.
And he was a great character, man. I mean, he was sort of like. He was like an anti-hero to start, and then he discovered that he has some heart the whole time. He's trying to protect his son, and he's sort of a classic The Chosen One trope, but they do it well, so I'm here for it. I'm gonna go with Sonny at number 5. Number 4. Actually, I'm looking at this now, and I have to put who I was going to say number 4. I have to put him even higher. I'm going to put that at number 3. Okay. And instead, I'm going to go number 4 with Sherlock Holmes.
Nice.
And I'm going to specifically go with the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock Holmes, who is just, I mean, again, you talk about Death Note and like weaponizing your intelligence, bro. This nigga be whooping. I mean, it's not like Robert Downey Jr., who was straight up doing Wing Chun in that shit. But he turns his intellect into a weapon in a way, and the way that it's edited is so fucking fire, dog. Like they do like they like freeze the frame, and then he starts like calculating, and you can like see like what they'll show a shot of him looking at something, and you'll see all the clues popping up on everything that he's noticing all at once. And he's able to, bro. This fool got shot in one episode, and like they paused it. And he broke down like all of this crazy ass science, and it really basically boiled down to like, all right, how do I survive this shit? Do I fall either forward or do I fall backwards? What's going to keep me alive? And it takes you through this whole like super elaborate line of deduction that he went through, and he did it in like a millisecond, but they paused it for dramatic. It's just a fire ass show. Now, for all you actuallys who are thinking, yes, Sherlock Holmes is actually from the book by Conan Doyle. First of all, y'all can kiss my ass. Second of all, cool. if you won't let me do Sherlock Holmes, then I'm gonna put in as a slash for number 4. I'm gonna go Hiro Nakamura from Heroes, from the show on ABC Heroes. Speaking of Hero, that's actually the character that inspired me to take the namesake Hero from Hero Beats. Is that particular hero? He had the power to control time, stop time, travel through time, space, teleport. One of the most powerful characters in all of that show. And then there's a future episode in like season 2 or 3 where the future version of him comes, and he's like this like hardened badass like fucking time samurai. It's amazing. So fucking dope.
That's dope.
So I'm gonna go with Hiro Nakamura as my emergency number 4. Now, number 3.
My emergency number 4.
Yeah, just in case somebody has something smart to say.
Well, actually,
all right, Sherlock Holmes from a book.
I need to shut up because I've been the well actually guy a couple times.
All right.
Unfortunately.
All right, look, number 3. Here we go. This is now we getting into the hero stuff now. Okay. Number 3, I'm gonna go with the protagonist from one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I'm gonna go
of all time.
Right. I'm gonna go with Elliot Alderson, who is the main character of Mr. Robot.
Okay.
He is played by Rami Malek, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, actually, I know enough about you to know that this show probably wouldn't be your just because it's literally
why is that, Hero?
Bro, because that shit is literally about computers only. That shit is that shit is specifically about hacking and computer technology.
I might actually get a nightmare from that show. You know how me and technology aren't the best of friends.
And also, I think this is where the alley-oop that you were setting me up for is also because there ain't no fighting in there.
That's what we were getting at.
But
Hilarious.
it is still it's an amazing show. And Elliot Alderson, I mean, he's if you've ever seen Fight Club, he's got that sort of mental the lead character with the mental instability where you never know if what you're seeing is like. Since you know that the main character is crazy, you never know, like, is that really happening or is this motherfucker just losing his mind? And the whole show was like that. It's just super fucking dope. And he's also a genius, and he's like the best hacker of all time. So can't go wrong with it.
Small details.
Now, it wouldn't be a hero list if it wasn't black as fuck at the top. So number it was a sort of a minor spoiler because I wanted to try to trick y'all on number 2, going with my favorite movie of all time. But I'm not going to go with the main character. I'm not going to go with Neo. Instead,
I like it.
I'm going with Morpheus, bro. Morpheus, Doug.
Morpheus.
Right. Morpheus. What is right? What is real? Is it the air you're breathing?
I like it, man.
Man, is that air you're breathing, Doug? Let's go. What a fucking amazing character.
What a line.
Right. It's just a great, and in my opinion, is Lawrence Fishburne's best role. I mean, it's just an amazing character. You know, the leader, the prophet, damn near, who went to go find the savior. I mean, he's just a great character. Really, really love more. He's the best part of that movie, in my opinion. And then, if you know anything about me,
sorry, bro. Excuse me.
If you know anything about me, my number 1 should not be a surprise. Coming from one of my favorite fictional characters ever, a person who I hope to be like when I turn bald and badass at age 40, 50, 60, I gotta go with Benjamin Sisko from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I mean, man. One of the all-time greatest Starfleet captains ever. You know, didn't take any shit. So there's just to give you the kind of motherfucker Ben Sisko was, right? If you're a Star Trek fan, you probably know about the Q, right? So the Q are an all-powerful race of they're like an omnipotent race of beings who just kind of come. And there's one particular Q who comes and just fucks with Jean-Luc Picard. Like he just kind of just teases him. And because from his perspective, humans are like a lower life form, and he just kind of puts him into all kind of weird ass shenanigans to try to test him and see if he can kind of, you know, save himself and make it out of the shenanigan that he was put in. And he's a reoccurring character. Jean-Luc Picard is always dealing with this shit. He's always trying to, you know, he's getting irritated with him. He's always frustrated. Anytime Q shows up, he's like, fuck, what the fuck is Q about to get us into now? There was one episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine where Q came and decided to try his shit on on Benjamin Sisko's watch. And instead of playing his games, instead of, you know, getting upset, Benjamin Sisko just hauled off and punched this nigga in his face. Right.
Yo, I feel like that was long overdue. I almost fell out of the chair like 2 other times on the show. Look, man, look at the time. If you're listening on Spotify or if you're just streaming it, I just fell out of my chair. Yeah. So you should look at the time go to YouTube on my YouTube channel.
He's still not on screen right now.
Find this episode,
bro. You fell into that same you fell into that same pit that Bernard Hopkins fell into when he got knocked out of the ring. That nigga fell into the depths of hell.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Wow. All right.
So anyway, suffice to say, Benjamin Sisko punched an all-powerful god in the face, and he never messed with him again. That nigga's a badass. He's as bad an ass as they come. So
I like it, man.
That's the top 5. Sonny, Elliot Alderson, Sherlock Holmes / Hero Nakamura from Heroes, Morpheus, and then Benjamin Lafayette Sisko. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Morpheus.
Hey man, super dope list. I'm gonna get into my. Hey, quiet down out there. All right, man. I'm gonna get into my list. This was kind of difficult, right? We both agreed we have been showing like unwavering love to Star Wars lately. So we both kind of made a agreement to not have any Star Wars characters on our list, because let's keep it real, if we did, Obi-Wan Kenobi would definitely be on mine, but we're trying to keep it no Star Wars characters included. So here we go, man. Coming in at number 5, it's going to be a character that probably a lot of y'all don't know. I got to go with my man, Hua Wu-Che from Handsome Siblings, my favorite live action show ever. And Hua, I told you before, the story of Handsome Siblings is dope. Hua Wu-Che is one of the brothers. He comes from this like royal palace that's they're the most feared and most powerful martial arts like palace, but it's all females, and they have this kind of hereditary move that they do, this technique called the jade swiping palm, and I told you, it's like using the force, right? And he comes from there. He's the only male disciple ever from there, and he's just really dope, man. Super amazing swordsman. He kind of is a little naive to the world because he doesn't go out into the martial arts world, as they call it, until he's older, but he's just a really dope character, like the most pure of hearts character ever. You know what I mean? He just is. He's super nice guy, but also very highly skilled, man, and just a really dope character. Amazing swordsman. If you guys, like I say it all the time, Handsome Siblings is on Netflix. Y'all got to check it out. Check out my man Hua Wu-Che. Also, I love it. His name is super dope too.
Yeah, that's a hard one to say too.
Coming in at number 4, yo man, this is one of my favorite movie characters ever. I'm going with my man, the Iron Monkey. Yo, Iron Monkey is dope, man, and Donnie Yen is in it, and he's fantastic. But look, man, you're talking about a ninja who's basically Batman. You know what I mean? Iron Monkey is like the most over the top, you know what I'm saying? Like goofy martial arts movie ever. But this character, this Iron Monkey, he's like a mixture of Robin Hood and Batman. He's a ninja who he takes from the rich and he looks after the poor people in the village, and they're all kind of being exploited and by this the guy who kind of runs it there. And Iron Monkey is like he's like a ninja superhero, man. And in the fights, he's just a really dope character. And once again, another guy who's just pure of heart. And Iron Monkey is one of my favorite movies ever. And I love the character, man. Like I said, he's like a ninja Batman / Robin Hood. Yeah, I mean, you can't get any doper than that. Coming in at number 3, I gotta go with Donnie Yen's role in the Yip Man movies, man. Master Yip, Master Yip, Donnie Yen. I was a fan before the Yip Man movies, but those movies, his role as Master Yip definitely kind of cemented him as my favorite next to Bruce. You know what I mean? Just the role that he plays in those movies, I think he does it extremely well. And he's a really dope character, just always laid back. You know, he doesn't ever get too high or too low.
Yeah.
He's just always in that pocket, man. He's always super, you know, it could be something catastrophic and he's just kind of like.
Yep. Also, those of you who don't know, man, Donnie Yen speaks better English than both of us, and we are from here. We were both born in America.
He does. He speaks fantastic English, man.
Yeah.
It's coming at number 3. I gotta go Master Yi, man. But number 2, here we go. Coming in at number 2. I'm going Sonny from Into the Badlands. Young Sanzo. Sanzo. Hey, look, man. Sonny's the total package, man. He was like you said. He's got that chosen one story arc. You know what I mean? He was kind of a mindless killing machine, and then he turned the other cheek into a decent man to do it for his kid. And I loved Into the Badlands. And Sonny was just an amazing character. I love to tell that story about Daniel Wu and how he was not trying to play that role because he just thought he was too old, but then he's just kind of like, you know.
Nope, that's you.
I'm dope. I'll do it. You know what I mean? And he killed it, man. I love Sonny. Master swordsman, master everything, really.
Yeah, bro. He was incredible.
Amazing. And you know what else I really love about Sonny and Daniel Wu and Into the Badlands? He's not a intimidating big guy. He's
not at all.
He's just a martial arts master, and he's kind of just a regular sized dude. And I always think that's kind of dope, you know what I mean? Because you see that it's a skill thing, you know what I mean?
100%.
So I love that. My number 1, man. Come on, man. I got to go with the legendary hero from my favorite movie of all time. That's Li Mubai from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Hey.
Oh, man. The man who the Green Destiny belongs to. I can never get enough of that scene where he comes when the people are trying to catch Jade Fox and she's giving them trouble, and he just kind of comes and just rough you up real quick. and he says, and he just dogs her like, oh, you read the book, which you only read the basics, which you can't even read. I can tell because you just.
Is that the part where I remember there's a part towards the end where somebody shoots like a million needles at him.
Poison needles, and he just
and that nigga just he didn't even like break us, just turned around like, oh, I'm sorry, just
yeah, man.
Like, all right, it's no problem.
And unfortunately, one got
through. Yeah,
one.
Yeah, that shit was trash.
My man deflected like 1,000 of them and got hit by one. Yep. Super, just Chow Yun-fat did an amazing job playing him. That I say it all the time, man. Li Mubai is the reason why I wanted to learn Chinese sword. Shout out to Junyu too, but she's technically not the hero of the movie. Still an amazing character. So that's my top 5, man.
Wait, didn't we also read that Chow Yun-fat is not a trained martial artist?
No, which is crazy. He only trained for that movie. And
that motherfucker is so fucking talented. If he just for that one movie and just became a master for that one role.
And bro, unbelievable. So that's my top 5, man. Number 5, Hua Wuche from Handsome Siblings. Number 4, The Iron Monkey. Number 3, Master Yip, Donnie Yen's role from the Yip Man movies. Number 2, my dude Sonny from Into the Badlands. Number 1, Li Mubai from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Remember, man, we kept it non-Star Wars because we have gone super hard on Star Wars the last few episodes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, that's just my top 5 favorite live action heroes, man. You got anything you want to put me on before we get out of here, brother hero?
Yeah, man. Actually, no, I don't.
Word.
I was gonna try to suggest you give Nier Automata a shot. It's a fantastic game. I know why people like it so much, but this shit is fucking weird and depressing. And the only reason why I'm continuing to play it is because I'm trying to finish this shit. But this shit is fucking weird. I would like to play something that is a little bit more uplifting. So maybe we'll see if somebody can give me a reason to get Animal Crossing and see what the fuss is about that shit.
Bro, my son is addicted to Animal Crossing.
Bro, everybody is apparently. I just don't
it nonstop.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it, man.
This guy's obsessed with Animal Crossing.
Okay, hold on. Wait a second. All right, Jayless. Jayless. Yo, Jayless. What's up, man? So, I need you to explain to me. So, two questions. One, should I get Animal Crossing? And two, what the heck is this game about? Like, what's the appeal?
One, yes. Two, the goal is just to like get a great town. Your goal in the game, the goal of the whole game is to try to get a 5-star town and to complete your town. The max amount of villagers I think you can have is 20, and you want to get like the best house, the best town hall, and the best shops.
Okay, that's it. That explains it. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, if you give it the Jayless endorsement, then I'll maybe check it out.
Why are you breathing so hard? What the heck are you doing up there?
Playing with Nova.
Yo, but I mean, I've watched him play, and I think it's a thing of, bro, it's like looks stressful. Like you have to make money, you have to work.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I do that shit every day. Like, you mean I get off work and I gotta go into the video game and then go back to work and fucking make sure that my turnips turned out right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know about that. I'm trying to do air combos and do hyper combos and shit.
Right. You got any air combos on there?
Right. Yeah, I do you smash attack.
Oh man. But yo, I don't really have anything to put you on, but I do have a suggestion for everybody listening out there.
Okay.
This is my number one favorite show of all time. I talk about it all the time. I hold it in super high regard. That is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah. I watch this show once a year, all the way through. I do it every year. I've been doing it since I was in like high school. It's my favorite show. I have it on DVD, but for the first time, it's on Netflix, guys. Avatar: The Last Airbender is on Netflix. If you've never seen it, if you haven't seen it in a long time, I recommend that you go and you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is an amazing show, guys. It's my number one favorite show of all time. That includes everything, anime, live action. I really think that this show is the greatest show. It's perfect to me. It's got great characters. The fights are sweet. The animation, it's hilarious. Has an amazing story. The characters are awesome. Please watch Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. Watch it all the way through, man. It's an amazing show.
Let's go. I'm about to revisit it for the first time in like 10 years. So I'm jumping in.
I'm so glad he's rewatching it because we got to talk about it on here. I love that show, man. But that's it, man. That's what we got for y'all. Hey, man. Like I always say, if you're a creative person in the quarantine, stay creative, man. Don't lose your alchemy. You know what I'm saying? In this time, and everybody just stay positive, man. Stay healthy. We love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Follow us on Instagram at the SwordCast Pod and comment on the post, man. Let us know what y'all want to hear next time, man. We love y'all.
My word is my sword, Hokage and Batosai, pulling the blades out of the forge, yo. Prior to my knowledge of the Force, was thinking Jedi, but through obtaining holocrons from both sides, I'm under gray skies. Everything that glitter ain't kyber crystal, my mind will lift you. In this time we shine together, disarm your pistol, yo. Welcome to the SwordCast, SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash. Welcome to the SwordCast, SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash. Welcome to the SwordCast, SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash.